racing to the massive roar of the crowd, sending her forward, putting her right on the speed. Epic finish to the Everest. What a daring ride. Bella Nipotina wins the Everest. A thriller there at the end.
With Tim Gilbert and Julie Snook, this is Racing Dreams, the Everest.
It's great to have you company. We're just a few weeks away from the richest race on turf. Hearing Bella Nipotina's name there, Jules, it does get the hair up on the back of the neck.
3 weeks out and we'll be trackside for the $20 million Everest, and it is getting to the pointy end.
Absolutely,
it is getting very interesting.
Who might jump out of the pack? It's Golden Rose Day, and we've got a huge show. Let's take a look.
Have a look at this guy, the most talked about sprinter in the world, steps out in Sydney ahead of his Everest campaign.
We catch up with champion jockey Tommy Berry ahead of today's Shannon Stakes. He's in good form, Tom.
New look too, with a bit of a haircut. And showcasing life beyond the track for thoroughbreds as we count down to Equimillion 2025.
Well, it's a beautiful day in Sydney, and the focus today, of course, is at Rosehill Gardens with the Golden Rose.
And we are live to Gary Portelli. Good morning to you, Mr. Portelli. Lovely to have you back.
Yeah, lovely to be on the show. It's nice to be relevant still.
You are completely...
You're always relevant.
Completely relevant. Country baker made good. Your story's almost a movie, to be honest with you. There is a bit of magic in the air. I know it's a beautiful day in Sydney, but we're just a few weeks away from the Everest. Golden Rose Day. There's plenty of good horses and good racing today as well.
Well, it's the warm-up for, the big end of town, a lot of horses resuming. A lot of horses, try to get qualified into some of the bigger races as well. So a lot of pressure on everyone today. It's nice to be part of it, but there's a pressure that comes along with it as well. We've been waiting for months to get these horses to the track, and they've got to perform now. So there's 10 races on today, and there's going to be 10 very happy syndicates, I'm sure, and hopefully one of them will be mine.
Absolutely. Let's look into that. NCAP in the Shannon Stakes today.
Yeah, look, he's had one run back from a spell, straight up to 1,500. Unfortunately, we missed out on the Missile Stakes first up due to the wet tracks. He hates it wet. Gets a nice firm track today, and the 1,500 should suit. We've got the Epsom next Saturday as well, so looking forward to seeing him run well today.
Yeah, you like the idea of going back-to-back with him?
It worked last campaign. He backed up into the Doncaster, was only 2 strides away from being the winner. He ran third, and we've sort of followed that program. He backed up well, so a 1,500 today, 1,600 Saturday, and hopefully we'll put 2 number ones next to his name. But it's tough at this end of the racing world. There's some very, very good horses. Alderman Glow's going to be there next week. She's got 54 kilos. My bloke's got 52, and I think it's going to be another great Epsom.
In terms of Kintyre, what's next for him? Are he off to the Epsom as well?
Look, he's nominated, but I just feel that he's just come on a little bit later this preparation. So maybe the following week, the $2 million race called the Alan Brown. And that's a race worth certainly aiming at as well. So it's a 1,400 metre race for him. And we've also got next Saturday, and anyway, the Epsom weekend, we've got Queen of Clubs in the Flight Stakes. So a very big weekend coming up for our stable next week.
Absolutely. Now, you've got a couple of golden slippers in the pocket already. There's an air of excitement every time the 2-year-old trials happen. I was out there on Monday. It's a little bit like Christmas Day because you're unwrapping things that you don't quite know. You've got a real talent.
Yeah, we had a nice filly run second. The trials there for Godolphin called Handloom. She'll resume in the Gym Crack, or have a first start the Gym Crack next weekend, Epsom Day as well. So looking forward to seeing her turn up. She's a little ripper. She's not very big, but she's got a massive heart, and she actually gallops like a big horse. So looking forward to her future. Obviously very well bred, being from the Godolphin team.
We're just watching the vision of her there earlier in the week in the mounting yard, and then heading on out onto the track. What do you want to be seeing from these 2-year-olds on this day? She just looked like she handled it really well. She was really content, really calm.
Yeah, she's a lovely filly. She'll just jump out. Hopefully, it's so important for the babies to draw a good barrier at their first start. The rail's their friend. So if you can draw a good gate, just follow the rails through. from what I saw in the barrier trial, she was tough at the back end of the trial. That's so important. It's not where you start, it's how you finish. And if you've got a horse that's strong over the last 200 metres, at the end of 1,000 metres, which is a long way for horses in October. You know, it was only probably 12 months ago these horses are out in paddocks just come off their mums. So it's a long way for them. But she looks like she's a type of horse that'll relish the 1,000. So the barrier draw will tell us more next week.
The new template for Godolphin, where they have their horses with various trainers, including yourself, it seems to be really working.
Yeah, they've had a great start. There's been so many winners. Obviously, James Cummings has done a great job having these horses prepared for everybody. It's a system and a great team behind Godolphin from the time they're born right through to now. And I'm just a privilege to be able to have been one of the trainers that have been asked to train for them. And over the next few months, I'll be producing some nice horses, that young horses that are unraced in particular. So very excited about what's coming through in our team from Godolphin.
Before we let you go, you also had the little fun and colt, Whip Cracker. He trialled at the trials on Monday.
Yeah, he just wasn't quite up to that level. I think the Breeders' Plate might be beyond him. So there's a race about a week and a bit later at Warwick Farms, a 1,000-metre maiden for him. So he'll go around a week later. But he's well named, isn't he? I love the name.
Yes, such a good name.
Absolutely. We'll watch that space with interest. 2-year-olds, and you know this better than anyone, Gary. They can certainly improve, can't they? Because we don't. They're, even when you see them trial, you don't know exactly what the full story is, do you?
No, they can do everything right at home. Then you take them away to Randwick, where they've never been to before, and we forget that they're animals. They don't know where the winning post is when they go to a new track. So for these horses to go to Randwick and have that, the enclosure, the colours of a jockey on their back, to go down to the barriers and jump out and just say, I don't even know where I'm going, and then expect them to come out and go like a fully educated racehorse is a little too much for horses in particular that are trained away from Randwick. So we find that once they've had a look, when we go back a few weeks later, they've had that experience and it's so good for them. So hopefully our horse, Handloom in particular, has taken a lot out of it because she actually raced like she'd been there before. So that's the most important part of a young horse, is that they do everything right and they learn that once they straighten up, there's a long straight. At the end of that straight, that's where they're going to be at their top. And that's what you teach them through education at home. And it's just confidence around, race day experiences and teaching them when they get to where that crowd is at the end of the straight, that's when they're going to get past every other horse. So it's a bit of brainwashing that's got to go on.
Handloom, one to watch from the Portelli stables. Miss Portelli, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for your time this morning. All the best today.
Thank you, and a special shout out to my son Harper, who turned 14 yesterday. I'm sure he's watching. He's finally up. School holidays are on now, so special mention to Harps. Happy birthday, mate, and hopefully have a great weekend.
Yeah, very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Harper.
In the spirit of Cheerios, a very big hello to Paul, who saw me yesterday, watches our show, loves it, and he's hoping that the Dragons can get a premiership in the New South Wales Rugby League Grand Final tomorrow afternoon. So all the best, Paul.
There you go. Well, here is racing analyst Nick Burney with a look at today's tips. Get your phones out.
Hello, Tim and Julie. What a great weekend of racing and sport we do have. I'm confident. I'm ready to bet up. Golden Rose Day, one of my favourite days of the whole entire year, especially the feature race, the Golden Rose. And recent history says Tempted might be up against it, the favourite at the moment. There's been 48 fillies run in this race for only one winner and 6 place getters, but we'll get to that race a little bit later on. Let's have a look at the meeting overview for today, which of course we're going to be at Rosehill Gardens, and the track will be obviously on that nice surface. The rail will be in that true position. So when it goes into that true position, it just gives those horses settling worse than midfield a great chance to run on. So the expected pattern is also they might want to slightly just get off the fence. So all in all, a great day of racing there out at Rosehill Gardens, and let's get straight into it, which will be my best bet on the program, which comes up in the feature race, race 8, number 7, which is Autumn Boy. So I really like this horse. He's got plenty of untapped potential, and this is him last start in the Group 3 Ming Dynasty, where he was first up here, and he clearly was always going to benefit from the run. He had to give away fitness edge, he had to carry a big weight, but also the way the track played this day, he had the bias against him. So I just really liked how he kept building momentum. He went through the line full of energy, and everything about this performance said he could only step off it. So he has that platform now. I just expect him to be savaging the line late, and he has that key attribute of closing speed, which history tells us you really need here in a Golden Rose. So trainer Chris Waller, he's won the race 3 times, but I think he's a great price to find out. Really keen on Autumn Boy. My next best comes earlier on in the program, which is in race 3 for an improving type for Kieran Maher, and that is Jockey. So this is the last start replay at the exact same track and distance he faces today. So this was a moderately run race. Yes, he was suited sitting outside the leader in that speed, but I just really liked who Ethan Brown rode him this day. He half clicked him up and he immediately accelerated. He put the race away with a lot of style, so he only has to hold this form to be winning again. But the big thing for me is he drops 4 kilos off this effort. So when that happens, horses with him, he has that turn of foot, and you go through this field, there's a lot of them at a little bit one pace. So for a horse over 2,400 metres that can accelerate, it's such a key asset to have. So I think he's hard enough to beat there in race 3. Now my value, it comes up in race 6. This is a red hot race, some great horses with the likes of Beedman, Mahuna. But I've got the value here, Grand Eagle. I think he's great odds here. So he's the horse that I'm expecting to improve very sharply here. Back onto a drier surface. I'm not going to show you the replay first up at Kensington, where it was on a heavy track and he clearly was going to benefit from the run, but he just had too much to do. He's back onto the drier surface. He's had a nice tick over trial between runs, but have a look at this win. He reeled off a huge final 600 metre sectional to score, but it's all about the race speed in this race. So he absorbed the high pressure, and that's when you're going to see the best of Grand Eagle, and you're going to get that exactly today. There's plenty of speed around the Rosehill 1100 metres. He's going to be drawn inside, doing no work whatsoever with Nashville Willer on. Yes, he's going to need luck, but the price, I'm happy to find out. And if he can replicate an effort like this, he's right in this race. Now let's move to Sunday for my out wide tip. So it's going to be in between the Panthers and Broncos game, but I think we can just flick over quickly to Sky Channel and hopefully get a bit of cash here, because in the Dubbo Cup, I really like this horse and his name is Tavros. Now please note this race is Big Dance eligible as well, which is a key factor leading into this spring carnival. But Tavros, this was last start in the Moree Cup and I thought he was ultra impressive this day. He's just gone to a complete new level his past 2 starts, and this is him bursting through to win. He had to overcome the speed of the race, but it's all about his closing speed. He recorded one of the meeting's fastest final 200 metre splits. He's just a horse that's in the zone. The rise to 1,500 metres is going to be ideal, and the big Dubbo track, that's really going to suit his style. I think he's a great way to finish the weekend, and I'm really keen on Tavros. So they're my 4 best bets, and we're going to throw them up onto the screen now. Of course, with the best bet, though, coming in the feature race, which is race 8, number 7, Autumn Boy. My next best is earlier on in the program, race 3, number 7, Jockey. The value is race 6, number 8, Grand Eagle, and my country pick is Dubbo on Sunday out wide, race 9, number 10, which is Tavros to finish off the weekend for us. I hope you have a great weekend to everyone watching on in, and we're back a stack of winners.
Good on you, Nick. Thanks for that. Now, Rachel King has come such a long way since riding in Pony Club back in the United Kingdom.
She's certainly done better than I did riding in Pony Club. Rachel's not only a star in Australia, but also Japan after her Group 1 win back in Feb. She will ride 60s today in the Golden Rose.
And they're racing at 60s with a real sniff of victory. Autumn Boy's coming with a big rush late. 60s clinging on. 60s won the Ming Dynasty.
60s in the Golden Rose. That was a good win a couple of weeks ago.
It was, yeah. Look, really looking forward to him. He's just seems like a nice progressive sort of colt. He's got a great attitude. Obviously his win was super last time, and it's obviously a step up again, but he's done nothing wrong so far, and always happy to be riding for the Waller team in those big races.
What's Chris say about him?
Well, he actually wasn't there when I rode him the first time. He was down in Melbourne, but Charlie was there. But no, they were obviously keen for him to just sort of bowl along and use his stride. He's got a nice big stride and he covers the ground well. And like I said, he's got a great attitude. He's very straightforward. So he takes bad luck out of the equation because he puts himself up on speed. He doesn't necessarily have to lead, but he's got good natural speed, and that really helps him going forward.
We'll watch with interest in the Golden Rose. All the very best with it. Now, Arapaho, he is such a war horse. Is he your favourite? You won 2 Group 1s with him in 2023?
Yeah, he's got to be, I guess. He's definitely got to be a favourite. He's, like you said, he's been a war horse for me, and to win a Tancred and then, come back and win a Sydney Cup as well off top weight and break a track record was unbelievable. And we always probably had him pegged as not a 3,200 metre horse, and he proved us wrong, and that's the kind of horse he's been. Everything we sort of think, oh, maybe he can't do this, he steps up and does it. So he's obviously heading towards a Melbourne Cup this year, and his first few runs back have been super. Really pleased with sort of how he's progressing and where he's at, and just getting those miles in his legs ready for Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, he had a good run in the Kingston Town last week. The Metropolitan will be next for him.
Yes, I think that's the plan at the moment, Metropolitan. He'll probably be top weight again in that, but it's just that nice stepping stone sort of distance-wise, and then he'll probably head down to Melbourne to go Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup.
What about the magic of racing in Japan? You've got to taste it over a number of years now.
Yeah, it's like nothing else. It's pretty special over there. It's a unique place. What they've built sort of over the last number of years is pretty incredible, and they put a lot of time, effort and money into it, and it's paying off. They're breeding some of the most beautiful animals. They're racing some of the best horses in the world, I feel, and I'm glad to sort of have my foot in the door there a little bit and yeah, be a part of it and just be connected to some of those animals. There's some really impressive horses around.
Yeah, well, your foot's right in the door, and you're breaking records as a female jockey up in Japan as well. And February was the big win, Costa Nova. What do you remember of that?
Yeah, it was a great day. It was a busy weekend actually, because I was in Saudi for the Jockey Challenge on the Friday, and then had to get back by midnight Saturday to get back into jockey jail in Tokyo, and it was a little bit of a rush, but it was an incredible day on the Sunday, and to get that Group 1 was very special. I've only been there for 2 Group 1s. The first year was the February Stakes, and sort of had an outsider, so second ride in a Group 1 in Japan and to go and win was really special, and felt like it just helped me establish myself even more over there. I've had incredible support from owners and trainers when I've been there, but getting that Group 1 was really good.
Now we're watching some of the 2-year-olds parade today, some of the most exciting potential racehorses anywhere in the world. I think the percentage is late 20s, 30% of these will win black type races. How do you enjoy these 2-year-old trials?
Yeah, there's always an exciting time of year. Sort of had a sit on a few of them at track work and things and jump outs, and it's a day when hopefully we'll leave still smiling and still enjoying it. But it's a great day out, and it's great to get the babies out and have this incredible experience. They get to come and walk around the mounting yard here and sort of really understand what it's all about and get a feel for them and see what we've got, and some of these exciting sort of first season stallions and things stepping out. So it'll be interesting to see how they all go. It's always an exciting day.
It's been great to watch your career over the years, and the way that your industry has changed for women has been quite exponential over the time you've been in it.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a big change, and look, for me coming from Europe to Australia, it was totally different even then, and I've sort of obviously been here a number of years now, and I've just seen the sport grow, like you said, especially in the sort of the female ranks of it, and I'm always very much pushing towards just being called a jockey, not a female jockey, and it's definitely more and more like that. And Australia's been incredible in that sort of aspect, and I feel like they're very open. The amount of female apprentices every year is just getting bigger and bigger. It's great to see, and hopefully it just those ranks keep getting boosted every year.
Racing Dreams is brought to you by Racing New South Wales and the Tab Everest, the world's richest race on turf.
Welcome back to Racing Dreams. Well, the Bjorn Baker trained Overpass has been locked in for his 3rd tilt at the Everest. Newgate confirming the sprinter is their runner for this year's $20 million race.
Yes, Henry Field, how are you, Hen?
Yeah, really good, thanks, Tim. Great, Jules. How are you guys doing?
We are well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. He didn't make the Everest last year, but he won the Sydney Stakes, and it happened to be in a faster time than what we saw in the Everest. Why Overpass this year for you?
Well, we gave it a lot of thought. He's a very, very tough, hardened, consistent Group 1 sprinter. He's unbelievable first up. Like, if you go through his form, every preparation, he basically either won or run second in big races against good horses, preparation after preparation. Bjorn is very confident the horse has never been going better or looking better, and I can tell you based on on how the horse looks. He looks incredible, even though he's 7. And we just thought, in a tricky year, we thought it was we thought it was a smart play to just to take the horse we know rather than the horse we're trying to guess.
And one of the things about him, he's durable, he's versatile. You look at what he's performed not only here, but then going across to Western Australia and winning all those quackers.
Yes. No, he's a very good horse. But I think the key to the horse is that he's so good first up and he's so good fresh. And Bjorn is in a position where he can really focus on having the horse absolutely dynamite first time out. And I think that'll be the key to his chances this year.
What do you make of this year's field to date? There is so much hype around Kaying Rising. I don't recall an Everest where we've just focused solely on one runner. What do you make of the field, how it's taking shape, and also the international interest that Kaying's bringing?
It's absolutely fascinating, and I can't wait for Everest Day. I think it's going to be one of the most interesting races you've ever seen. Kaying Rising is a superstar, and in reality, if he turns up on race day and runs to his ratings that he has in Hong Kong, there's a lot of variables travelling horses, not easy. David Hayes is obviously a master trainer, but I think if he does that, he'll be. It's probably his race to lose. However, he's got to do that. And, it's been a fascinating sort of situation with our own sprinters here in Australia, who you'd take to, who you'd sort of put in your slot to take him on. We obviously saw a very good filly of Chris Waller's last night, Lady Shenandoah, not quite handled Moonee Valley, which just sort of opened things up because I thought she was our best local hope. So it's very, very open. If he fails, it's a very open race. And I'm just pleased that with our partnership with the Inghams, Greg Ingham and Barb Ingham and Newgate, that we've got a horse that, if the favourite fails, will be there till the bitter end, I think. I think he'll dance a big dance Overpass in the Everest, and you know what you get with a horse like Overpass.
A very exciting morning this week with the 2-year-old trials. I mentioned before, a lot of people sort of liken it to Christmas Day.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing about Christmas Day is that it's generally... it generally finishes out well. Sometimes those 2-year-old trials can be like a pop balloon, but it was some really interesting horses trialling. Obviously, what was really exciting for me is some of the first season sides. We saw, Stay Inside and Home Affairs, two very exciting young stallions, have really dominant trial performers. And I think that'd be great, for some fresh young stallions coming through into the market was really important, but very interesting and so exciting. And the history shows that very good horses come out of those first trials.
Just quickly before we let you go, Eviction Notice, he was so impressive. He won the biggest margin of the morning. We saw Gay looking very happy afterwards, as Gay does with the babies. That must fill you with some confidence.
Yeah, he's a very sharp horse. We bred him on the farm, actually, out of a fast American mare. To be fair, Adrian has had a very high opinion of this colt for a number of weeks, if not months. He's very impressive, very impressive. And I think the second horse is an I'm Invincible horse that we bred on the farm as well, that the Baker stable has a good opinion of too. So he's certainly a very talented horse. With these 2-year-olds, as you guys know, you just hope that they get to the race healthy, happy and sound. They're a day-by-day proposition. But he looks very, very sharp, very talented, and excited to see the Breeders' Plate next week.
Henry, thanks for firing up this morning. Enjoy Golden Rose Day. We'll catch you soon.
It's going to be a beauty. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Jules.
Thanks, Henry. Well, it's been a very exciting week with Everest favourite Kaying Rising arriving from Hong Kong. He's on Aussie soil.
And to this point, all's gone nice and smoothly, Jules. I caught up with Navesh Ramdani, the racing manager of the ATC, to talk all things Kaying Rising and the international influence, but also talk about the 2-year-old trials. That's where we were. Real air of excitement today, Navesh. The 2-year-old trials, some of the best horse flesh anywhere in the world.
Well, absolutely, yeah. Exciting morning, it always is, particularly on a beautiful day like this. All these premium horses, 2-year-olds getting prepared for the upcoming season. And of course, today we might just see the next Golden Slipper winner.
Well, that's it, isn't it? The success rate out of these 2-year-old trials is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen it throughout the years, and of course very well supported by Gay Waterhouse. She loves these days. She loves to prepare horses. The 2-year-olds are her thing, and she's out here today, and it's well supported by her stable.
Car Ying rising. Car Ying rising.
Car Ying rising. He's about to move in. Car Ying rising. They're racing. It's Car Ying rising. Well clear. It's an easy trek to base camp. Now to climb Everest. He'll head to Australia. Everest bound.
Have a horse of the quality of Car Ying Rising is just unprecedented for Sydney racing. It's fantastic. And yeah, that brings all sorts of excitement for the race itself, the Everest. I mean, this is exactly what it was set up to do, is to attract the best sprinters in the world. And we've done that this year from Hong Kong particularly, which is it's a great result for Sydney racing. And look, it comes with the pressure of transporting the best racehorse in the world to Australia. But we're fortunate that we have a really good team of international racehorse transport. These guys transport horses all around the world, so they make my job a little bit easier. And of course we set up at Canterbury Park International Quarantine, which by all accounts from trainers who travel here throughout the world says it's probably one of the best. So we're really pleased with to have the facilities we have and to attract the horses that we do.
So his program is track work through to a trial in October ahead of the Everest?
Yeah, absolutely. So he'll start to get prepared. His prep run really is a barrier trial here at Royal Randwick on the 7th of October. And on that day as well, the public will be welcome. We'll throw the gates open, we'll put on a breakfast. Anyone who wants to see this fantastic horse will be welcome to come and see him up close in person, in the flesh. If you can't get here on Everest Day, that's a great opportunity. And then of course the day itself, the Everest Day. And I've spoken to David Hayes. He's very happy with the horse and where he's placed ahead of the race. So it's going to be an absolutely cracking day.
And they're racing. Lake Forest bursting home on the rails. Lake Forest. William Haggis has done it again. Lake Forest got up to nail, I think, Lazat and Tom Kidden on the wire.
William Haggis has the Midas touch when he comes to Australia?
Well, he's a seasoned campaigner in Sydney, and he's proven at that. He's won multiple Group 1 races here, and so he's got Lake Forest again this year in the King Charles III Stakes. That's really exciting for the race as well. It adds a different dimension, and of course, whenever William Haggis has a runner in Sydney, you have to take notice because he just seems to be able to prepare them so well to perform at their peak here in Sydney.
And we look like we've got a good run of weather, Nivesh. Sometimes that weather can be a real negative for people preparing tracks.
Yeah, look, fingers crossed. I mean, we've had a good spell. I mean, we've come off a really, really wet winter, probably one of the wettest we've had in years. We already exceeded our annual average rainfall. So, look, we're due some good weather, and by all accounts, it looks fairly settled. You'd have the odd shower here and there, but that will set us up perfectly. We just hope we get good days leading into race day. The tracks are presented in fantastic order across all of our venues. So, the weather's played its part. The team have done a great job in preparation of the tracks, and we've got some incredible horses racing. So it's set up to be one of our best carnivals ever.
I can't tell you how good it is to have your company this morning.
Thank
it is
you.
wonderful and racing dreams. Yours,
Where else
of
would I
course,
rather
Jules,
be?
and everyone else. I know in TV we're only talking to an individual, so you at home.
And
he's
to have
here.
this
He's
guy here too.
Like the most extroverted person in horse racing. His name is Shane O'Cass, ladies and gentlemen, the King of Kensington. How are you?
Just taken over from Björn Baker in that role.
Yeah.
Look, I'm very well because it's Golden Rose Day. This is the Golden Slipper for the 3-year-olds because we've actually got 5 of the 9 runners raced in the Golden Slipper last year. So what they missed out on as 2-year-olds, they try to get today as 3-year-olds. It's known as...
What about these names? Wotan, Tinted...
It's a sire-making race, a stallion-making race. Obviously, we've got a filly in it this year. Attempted 48 fillies have tried before and failed to win a Golden Rose. So she's obviously going to be the first filly. forensics when she was a mare, of course, but technically speaking, she'll be the first filly. Now, having a look at Woden here, look, I think he's the most polarising horse in racing, guys. I mean, 50% of the racing pundits think he's a superstar and the other 50 think he's overrated. So this is his grand final. This is the only race he won, by the way. This was back in January, a restricted race, I should say, just a normal 2-year-old handicap. But look, he put him to the sword. He's been good ever since. He was second in a slipper. He was unlucky last start. So it is his grand final to put no uncertain terms on that, but Chris Waller is the ultimate grand final coach. I mean, when he sets them for the big races, they win. And
he's Ivan Cleary, isn't he?
He's just brilliant. And unfortunately, this horse's father, Wootton Bassett, passed away earlier in the week. And a huge loss for Coolmore. Both sort of lost a horse that they loved. And, you know, you can't get away from it. Financially, it's a massive, massive loss for the industry as well. But look, if Woderton can win today, he will not so much take the place, but there is a box for him at Coolmore and a great, enormous, big check.
Oh, and we spoke to them last week. They're thinking very highly. And, I mean, there's every chance he performs well. He ends up in an Everest. So that's what could happen.
It could.
Golden Pendant, Manal, looks a good thing.
Yeah, look, a friend of the show, Michael Friedman, he looks set for a huge day. It does look a good thing, Jules. She was probably the best 2-year-old filly, in my opinion, of her year. And look, this just shows how well she's come back. She really hit top stride here. She's racing there in the green with the white cap, and admittedly a lot of people saying she got the run of the race, she got the ride of the race, but look, she still won very convincingly, and I'd say that she goes there a really confident horse today now that she's got that winning feeling back, and there's nothing in that race that she should be too frightened of.
Now, it's been a big week of movement in the Everest. I spoke to James Harron during the week. I said, can you hold this off until Saturday? Can you hold it off? He said, no, mate, sorry, we can't.
Yeah, well.
I know friendships are friendships, but Angel Capital, look, this is a very talented horse.
Well, it is indeed. And I must say, James Harron's a very good judge. He's a very good judge of yearlings, but he's also a very good judge of buying horses for the Everest.
That run in the Rupert Clark.
Oh, look, it was nothing short of a certainty beaten, was it? I mean, Damien Lane, one of the probably number 2 jockey in the world, jumped off and sort of apologised after the race. But look, you know, it happens. The Yulong horse just didn't get a split until late, and it should have won. I mean, so if you there it is at the back of the field, just charging through the middle of the pack. But look, if you take a line through the fact that it should have won this race, it's a last start Group 1 winner over 1400. So look, why wouldn't you pick it? It's not about the race that you lost. It's about the race that you want to win, really.
What was your take on the shorts, particularly Private Harry's run? It's been an interesting week for that camp. Ash Morgan won't get the ride on Private Harry now moving forward for the Premier or the Everest. What do they do with the Everest?
Will Private Harry even end up in the Everest?
Well, look,
I know that's your crystal ball.
He's got one more race to prove himself, and that's the Premier Stakes. I mean, if he happened to come out and be the old Private Harry and win that race, then suddenly he's back and got a seat at the table. But look, I was as shocked as anybody to see him run so poorly in this race. I mean, he was an even money favourite. First up, he'd never been beaten before. He trialled the house down. And
a lot of money came from it.
Well, that's right. I mean, and in terms of what he was for the Everest, he was the $5 second favourite. He's now 15 to 1. So people, you know, punters are pretty unforgiving. They've just put the pen through and say can't win. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as that. I mean, the horse had an off day. We all have off days. But if I was the Private Harry camp, I would be very concerned because he really didn't find anything as soon as he got beaten. And poor old Ash Morgan. I mean, Ash has been there in barrier trials. He's been there every morning, and somehow it's his fault.
Yeah,
it's not, of course, which it's not, really.
Like it's always someone's fault.
Yeah, that's right.
It's always, it's always someone. Anyway, we'll move on from someone's fault. But Ka Ying Rising has arrived, ensconced at Canterbury. All things are going well. We heard from Navesh the other day, or on the show rather, that basically there'll be a breakfast. There'll be quite a bit made of this trial. Everything ticks, doesn't it? Everything. Every box is ticked. For this mighty sprinter.
He is going to be the Taylor Swift of horse racing in the last week. I mean, look, the only people talking about it now, I think, are the racing pundits, the racing fans, the punters. You wait until the Everest really gets into full swing, front page of the telly every day, leads the news every night. I mean, this horse is a superstar. The people who are going to the Everest this year are going to see the best horse in the world, full stop. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. And I mean,
prohibitive odds, won't
he's $1.50. But look, I mean, Winx was $1.08 every time she raced, but it didn't didn't stop people from clapping at the 200, when she was 10 lengths in front. So I don't think he'd be 10 lengths in front of the 200. But David Hayes was even commenting that his quote was something along the lines of, "You'll see how fast a horse can run 1200." I mean, he could break the course record. And look, all the slot holders, no one's going to say it on TV, but I think
they've gone close to saying
they're racing for second. I mean, unless this horse has some terribly off day, or a cyclone kept him in Hong Kong, almost.
Well, you'd have to think that we talked to Henry before and we didn't ask him, but you could tell that part of the decision for overpass was because of the Kaying rising factor.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. It comes down to beating the horses more than beat you. You can't beat the favourite, beat the rest.
Good on you, Shannon.
Thanks, Shane. Lovely to see you. Well, race 9 today is the Group 2 Shannon Stakes over 1,500 metres.
6-year-old gelding Gringotts will be hard to beat. Informed jockey Tommy Berry on board after his big win last week on the Apocalyptic. Take a look.
Racing, it's Kujenga and Autumn Blonde vying for the early lead. Not much between the pair at the 800 metres. Tupacar and a stalking roll third. Followed then by Next Gen tucked away on the rails, and Apocalyptic is creeping closer out wide without any cover. Apocalyptic is next as they straighten up, and racing to the front, Autumn Blonde with Tupacara being cuddled the outside. Now Apocalyptic chiming in. Apocalyptic's broken clear, and Apocalyptic goes on to win the T-Rose.
A lovely filly. She's filly we've had a lot of time for quite a while. Unfortunate that she had a couple of setbacks leading into a slipper because we thought she was our leading contender there, but probably a blessing in disguise. She's really filled out into a lovely filly, and she's got a name up in lights at the moment.
Apocalyptic, that's been a decent win. The draw did her no favours, but she earned that.
I think overcoming a few difficulties there today with the wide, the wide run through, no fault of Tommy's. We were always a little bit worried about that gate. But to sort of do what she did and let down like she did, it's, from a training perspective, you don't get too many horses in your hands that can do that.
Yeah. What were you thinking coming down the side, approaching the turn?
I'm going to strangle Tommy.
It was a wide gate, a wide run. Michael Friedman goes, "Oh, I felt like strangling Tommy." He was mucking around, obviously. What was that conversation?
Yeah, well, we sort of spoke about it beforehand. We had a pretty good idea that that's where we're probably likely going to end up, and we didn't want to. We would have loved to get some cover, but she's a big filly anyway, and as I said to Michael before the race, if there's ever a filly to get caught wide and be using a big action like hers, it's her. And so it probably played in our hands a little bit, and we got a little bit of cover sort of taking us into the straight off James's horse, and it worked out perfectly.
Where do you reckon she'll end up?
She'll go the Flight Stakes, and whether she goes on from there, you still got to remember it's only her third start, so she's very lightly raced, and when she comes back over the autumn, she's going to be something exciting to work with.
They settle and they're off and racing. Fangirl, Chaelwolf and Gringotts, 3 of them in it. Fangirl the outside, lunges at Gringotts, and another thriller. Fangirl, Gringotts, a half head away to Chaelwolf. There is dead set nothing in this. Fangirl and Gringotts, and Chaelwolf just between them. Well, the judge will have to really blow this photo finish up. Gringotts, I think, a nose to Fangirl and Chaelwolf. 5 is the winner. Number 5, Gringotts, Tommy Berry for Kieran Maher, winning the Group 1.
Golden Rose Day, Gringotts is in today.
He'll line up in the Shannon Stakes, I think, on Saturday, and he's obviously going brilliant. He's going to have to carry probably 60, 61 kilos there, but that just keeps him on target for the King Charles 3 weeks after that.
Racing now, it's Gangster Granny, under siege, Gangster Granny being tackled by Manal on the outside, and Dark Little 8. Manal's got the momentum up though, and Manal won the Scirocco Stakes.
She's an exciting mare. She's been very consistent her whole career, but she's been played by wide barriers pretty much all the last preparation. So last week was the first time she's had a good gate, and she showed what she can do there. And she's going to be up against some exciting mares, and but she's one of the best going around.
And Mahuna, a lot of people are looking at of course, how does a 2-year-old come back in the 3-year-old year, the slipper winner?
Yeah, she trialled really good up against Briasa probably 2.5 weeks ago, when we saw Briasa step out on the weekend and was very impressive. So taking a line through that trial, she's come back in good order. Her work was really good on Tuesday morning. So we're tempted to run her last Saturday up against the good sprinters, but in the shorts, but just she was pretty poorly weighted in that race. So she's going to have to carry 58 kilos in the Heritage, but she sort of earned that weight, and you know, she's only first up. They have to protect the value to some extent, and there's plenty of options for her after this.
Tell you what, if she wins, people will start talking about an Everest.
Yeah, they will, and I think the filly's getting with 50.5 kilos maybe in that, so she'd be very well weighted in something like that. So she's, there'll be a lot of eyes on her on the weekend.
What's it like chasing James McDonald?
It's hard. It's when you put one of the best jockeys on the best horses, and I always say he draws good barriers as well. He's hard to beat, but now we get a bit of fun out there on the track with him, and he's been spending a little bit of time in Melbourne, obviously with a mare of late, which helps other guys get different rides and stuff like that. So it's a bit of musical chairs at the moment, but looking forward to him going to Hong Kong in early November and giving me a break here.
Good to have your company, Racing Dreams. We're just a week out from Equimillion 2025, and English Managing Director Mark Webster joins us now. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. How are you both?
Real good.
We are so well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll get to Equimillion in just a second, but an exciting announcement for Inglis this week, confirming your Everest runner for this year in Skybird.
Yes, we announced just a couple of days ago that Skybird would be our runner, of course, very impressive in the Lightning earlier in the year. As you know, she didn't run that well last night, and we're sort of getting to the bottom of that.
And look, this is a loaded question, obviously. Are all the horses running for second this year in the Everest?
Well, you know, it's hard to travel a horse. We've seen it so many times when Aussie horses go to Royal Ascot, as an example, or even up to Hong Kong. You know, it's tough. So no doubt, Kayin Rising is a hot favourite and deserves to be so. But you know, our horses know the ground, know the environment. They haven't travelled. You know, there's some great chances. Jolly Star would probably be right up there to take him on.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be one to remember, that's for sure. But so is next week, Equimillion, back next weekend. And of course, Inglis is a very proud sponsor.
Look, Equimillion is incredibly important. Credit to Racing New South Wales for this initiative. $1 million up for grabs, $30,000 on each class. And of course, it's for retired thoroughbreds. And I've been there the last couple of years handing out trophies and ribbons and checks. And you know, nothing better than seeing these beautiful animals have a second career.
Absolutely, and look, it's all part of the education piece as well, isn't it, Mark? For those that don't quite know the industry like we all do, and the way that thoroughbreds are treated.
That's right. Look, thoroughbreds have lots of different uses. Of course, those that are highly commercial, stallions or quality females, of course, have a future with breeding, which makes sense. But if they're a gelding or they're a mare without a lot of breeding upside, there's a lot of uses for them. And Equimillion and just competing generally as a pleasure horse or a competition horse is increasingly becoming popular. You know, in the past, there's been a lot of use of warm bloods and other breeds, but it's good to see people turning to the thoroughbred and using what we already have here in this country.
That's the athleticism of the thoroughbred as well, and the calibre. What are you seeing out there at Equimillion? I know, horses are your life, they're your business, but they're your personal life as well. So from your perspective, what calibre are you seeing out there competing at Equimillion?
Well, I mean, there are household names there, first of all. I mean, if anybody goes out there from Friday, this Friday coming, the 3rd, they'll see horses of the calibre of Nature Strip competing in dressage and show jumping, and Holyfield and Graham McGuinness winner Communist, Hot King Prawn, beautiful grey horse that won a lot of sprinting races in Hong Kong, returned to Australia and has a whole new career. So there are horses at all levels, and they have classes for riders also at all levels. So people who are watching this at home, that love their equestrian sports and might be competing on horses in local competitions should really be thinking about buying a thoroughbred off the track and registering for Equimillion for next year. Probably a bit late for this year, but for next year, get involved. A lot of money up for grabs, and there's a lot of excitement just being there for 4 days. You see the owners of these horses go out, the previous owners, I should say, that raced them, going out and cheering on their horses with new owners in a new discipline. It's just a lot of fun to be part of.
There's a whole food festival this year too.
I am tongue in cheek, but some former thoroughbreds get treated better than their husband.
Speaking from experience.
You've got a few, Timmy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now I look, every time I hear the name Hot King Prawn, and we did Hong Kong racing teams, it makes me hungry. But look, we're talking about Kaying Rising with the Everest. This same sense of anticipation is around the Winx colt. By Snitzel, out of Winx, going under the hammer, Easter 2026 at Inglis.
Oh yes, a lot of excitement. I guess a lot of pressure also. Last year I think we exceeded 2 years ago we exceeded all expectations with a filly, making 10 million, and here we have a beautiful colt. Don't ask me what he's going to make, Tim, because I don't know. I'd like to get to that number we achieved a couple of years ago, but you really just don't know in this sort of environment. It comes down to the competition we can line up on the day.
You were in the thick of it last time too, on the phone. The cameras were on you. How was the heart rate when those numbers were getting up nice and high?
Yeah, well, my last bid was 9 million for John Stewart. He was on the phone.
Were you shaking at that point, or?
Well, shaking a little because he was new, right? This is the first time we'd done anything with him. I'd only met him 3 weeks before, took him to dinner in Kentucky, and I explained who Winx was, and we had this beautiful filly out of Winx, and he said, "I got to own that girl." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." I thought he was joking at dinner, right? Yeah, I thought he was joking. At 2 o'clock in the morning, he's messaging me on WhatsApp saying, "Send me all the videos you have on that filly you talked about at dinner," right? And and then I woke up in the morning and he tweeted, "I'm buying this filly." So that's just amazing to see people react in that way.
Absolutely. And I think that unlike any other industry that I have worked in or know, racing has that, doesn't it? We look at what's happening with Mulberry racing, people that just get the hook, get the love, and anything can happen. That's why we're calling ourselves Racing Dreams and have done for 7 years now, Mark. Absolutely.
Well, we've just got to remind everyone, we're actually allowed to have fun spending our money. Yes, you can invest in property and lots of other things, but you can also invest in horses, and you may get lucky and get a top line horse that makes a huge profit, but you also get lucky just having fun with friends and family going to the races. They're the memories that will stay with you forever. So people just need to remember there's a lot of negativity out there in the media if you're watching the news, but you can actually have fun at the moment with horse racing.
What a perfect way to finish the show. Thank you so much, Mark. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks,
okay,
Mark.
I'll see you at our Ready to Race sale coming up October 16. See you there.
We'll be there with bells on. As always, a big thank you to Peter and the team at Racing New South Wales. They make this possible.
Have fun. We'll see you next week.
Have a good day.